Okay. Leave it. So I think that's spelled right. Give me one second. Leave it. I'll cut this down. Glad that it's not too much of a delay. That's good. However, let's pick it right on up. We are in Ezekiel, the chapter of 16. And before I run right into the scripture, I just want to give a quick preface. What you're about to hear was not described to the Israelites per se, uh, the way that it's about to be described. But what they were told and what they were warned about, as far as the devices and the ways of the people of the land, you can correlate all those things to the basic scripture. So the people were not ignorant to the things that you're about to hear. Chapter 1, verse 6, chapter 16, verse 1. There we go. Book of Ezekiel. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, testify to Jerusalem of her iniquities, and thou shalt say, Thus saith the Lord to Jerusalem, Thy root and thy birth are of the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother a Kittite. So stop right there. The landmass of Jerusalem is the land and where which Canaan or Canaan took up, and the two of the children from Canaan, okay, who would be the Amorite, okay, and the Kittite, they created. So the man was an Amorite, and the woman was a Kittite, who were the first people to probably found what is the city known as Jerusalem. That is right there the understanding. That's not that. Once again, if we're talking about just understanding what the scripture has written and put forth, spectra or whatever, that's just the most basic thing. Is that the mother is a Kittite, the father is an Amorite, and that would be the man and the woman who founded, who would have produced the people to live in the land to create what is known as Jerusalem. Okay. Um, Verse 4. And as far as thy birth, in the day wherein thou was born, thou didst bind thy breast, didst not bind thy breast, and thou wast not washed in water. Neither wast thou salted with salt. Neither wast thou salted with salt. Neither wast thou swathed in swaddling bands. Stop right there. So you weren't cleaned up properly, right on. You weren't dressed up properly. You don't have anything to hold your body together, right on, to keep you looking proper. So you're just a dirty, nasty chick. Verse 5. Nor did my eyes pity thee to do for thee one of all these things. Stop right there. So the Most High is like, not only did I not care, right on, but I didn't care enough to even put you on enough to have one of them. So I didn't even feel bad for you. I didn't whatever. Come on. Here we go. Let's keep it pushing. Nor did my eye, nor did my eyes pity thee to do for thee one of all these things, to feel at all for thee. But thou wast cast out from the face of the field because of the deformity of thy person in the day wherein thou wast born. So this city is not like a regular city, right? It has no bounds to it. So when Jerusalem was first built, there was no it was lawless. You understand? where other cities have other cities obviously have ordinance. You know what I mean? This city's lawless. So it was a lawless land when it was first brought to its recognition. And because of that, it was one of those places where people were like, forget Jerusalem. Okay. Yeah. All right. Where else is it? Where are we at? Verse 6. And I passed by to thee, and I saw thee polluted in thy blood. Come on. And I said to thee, let there be life out of thy blood. Come on. This is the Most High. Increase. And I have made thee as the springing grass of the field. So thou didst increase and grow, and didst enter into great cities. Stop right there. So the Most High said, I took this woman's period, okay, her menstrual cycle, and he said, from that, I'm going to create life for you. You're going to increase. Hold on. Now, I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean on a spiritual aspect or what, but I mean, there's so many different ways to take it. You could take it as in the level of the actual blood of the people was was hold on, you can't say made more continuous, but there has to be like some level of like an increase or a surplus there. Um, it's really hard to put it in words because I couldn't tell you how you would make life from blood. I'm not a creator of life. You understand? So my simple human mind doesn't have the ability to grasp that. However, so we keep reading. And I passed by thee, and saw thee polluted in thy blood. And I said to thee, let there be life out of thy blood, increase. And I have made thee as the springing grass on the field. So thou didst increase and grow, and didst enter into great cities. And thy breasts were set, and thy hair grew, whereas thou wast naked and bare. And I passed by thee, and saw thee, and behold, it was thy time, and a time of resting. And I spread my wings over thee, and I covered thy shame, and swear to thee, and I entered into covenant with thee, saith the Lord, and thou becamest mine. Stop right there. So the Most High said, I dipped off for a minute, and I came back, and lo and behold, you put some clothes on, your hair is growing, right? And then he said, I took my wings. Hold on. So the Most High, or the Lord, whoever you want to say, has wings. Yes. We wouldn't say that if it wasn't wings, y'all. Okay. It's something tantamount to wings. If it was hands, it would have said hands. Come on. And I spread my wings over thee, and covered thy shame, and swear to thee. And I entered into covenant with thee, said the Lord, and thou becamest mine. Hold on. So he said, I took you up. Right. But once I took you up, now we're in covenant. Right. Now it's blood in time. Right. You see what I'm saying? Do you see how this works? This is like a dude in this is a man anywhere or a woman anywhere, but I like to use a man bringing a chick up to being, into her righteous character that she can come into. Because it's really, really, really hard for the other dynamic to happen. Uh, I just don't really see how women really make men better. Men change for women for the most part because they have the ability to. Uh, Women are not saying, I'm not saying that they're incapable of change, but I think unless something traumatic happens, they're more set in their ways than men are. And I'll stand by that any day of the week. But let's just keep reading. Verse 8. And I passed by thee and saw thee, and behold, it was thy time, and a time of resting. And I spread my wings over thee, and covered thy shame, and sware to thee. And I entered into covenant with thee, saith the Lord, and thou becamest mine. And I washed thee in water, and washed thy blood from thee, and anointed thee with oil. And I clothed thee with embroidered garments, and clothed thee beneath with purple, and girded thee with fine linen, and clothed thee with silk, and decked thee also with ornaments, and put bracelets on, one moment, and put bracelets on thy hands, and a necklace on thy neck, and put a pendant, and by the word parent, the pendant is an earring on thy nostril, and rings in thine ears, and a crown of glory on thine head. Stop right there. So, the land, which was Jerusalem, when she first began, what she was nothing. A dirty woman in the streets, begging for change. Right, willing to do whatever it took to get a meal that day. And some passerby who was obviously of substantial and opulent resources said, you know what? I see the problem here. Come here. And he put her into a hotel room and said, hey, look, every 2 weeks go to this place and they'll have some money for you. And he said, do this and this. And then I'll be back in 6 months to check on you. He came back in 6 months, and lo and behold, she gained a little weight. Her senses come to her. Right. Her clothes are clean. Right. Her hair is grown. Thought her hair would never grow back. It looked like she had tight little beads, but now he can see that, oh no, her hair is actually much healthier than I thought it was. Oh, what a surprise. Okay, I got you. I'm going to take my, he didn't take his hands, he took his wings. So this is another part of his body. You understand? Now I'm going to cover you with that. That's like a shield almost. I'm going to shield everything. Right. And he covered the shame. Then he said, you know what, I got you. And then while he's covering the shame, so while he's doing all that, he said, look, all that bad reputation, don't worry, I got you. Because I'm gonna get you a good job, I'm gonna put you in a good place, right? And all the nice clothes, the earrings, right? And then the confidence that comes upon these things are bestowed upon the land of Jerusalem or this woman. Right. Let's keep going. Verse 13. So thou wast adorned with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk, and, and variegated work. Thou didst eat fine flour, and oil, and honey, and didst become extremely beautiful. And thy name went forth among the nations for thy beauty, because it was perfected with elegance, and in comeliness which I put upon thee, saith the Lord. So I took you from being absolutely nothing, and I made you amazing. Almost like a pretty woman scenario. You know what I mean? But obviously just way deeper. Way, way deeper. Chick running around with her menstrual blood on, smelling and looking nasty, totally cleaned up, and now she's certified, everybody wants her, you know. So, and this is how the story's going. So understand this is what he did for the land. All right. The land of Jerusalem was in this same condition. And when I say he, I mean the Most High. Verse 15. Thou didst trust in thy beauty, and didst go a whoring because of thy renown, and didst pour out thy fornication on every passerby. And thou didst take of thy garments and madest to thyself idols of needlework. Listen, and thou didst and thou didst take of thy garments and madest to thyself idols of needlework. Can you dig it? Little dream catchers and shit like that, all that crazy stuff. Anyway, come on. It's not just clothes. And didst go a whoring after them. That therefore thou shalt never come in, nor shall the like take place. Stop right there. The Most High said, your fullness of who you were supposed to be will never come to be. And what happened with you, I'll never do again. Come on. And thou, verse 17, tookest thy fair ornaments, or garments of thy boasting, of my gold and of my silver, of what I gave thee. And thou madest to thyself male images, and thou didst commit whoredom with them. Stop right there. So the Most High said, chick, I put you on. The only reason why you have the gold is because of me. The only reason why you have this silver is because of me. And then you want to go and make golden phalluses and golden testicles and praise him, right? And all these pictures of men with so-called what you believe is perfection, and now you have women doting over these people. Man, come on, let's go ahead and keep it pushing. So they'll understand where the culture came from. It's not brand new. Verse 18. And thou didst take thy variegated apparel, which is different colors, right on, and didst clothe them, and didst set them before the, and thou didst set before them mine oil and mine incense. Stop right there. The Most High said, not only did you make male images who are supposed to be so-called well endowed and all this other nonsense, but chick, you put clothes on, and then you took my oil and my incense and gave it to them. Come on, now let me understand. Let me learn yes what he's talking about. The Most High said, to the land I gave the ability to produce life. The land knows that I did that for it, as opposed to the land withholding from those who were evil and wicked. It gave to those who were evil and wicked, and allowed for these things that are sins to take place in abundance. So therefore, Jerusalem, the land, is responsible, not just the inhabitants. Verse 18 again. And thou didst take thy variegated apparel, and didst clothe them, and thou didst set before them mine oil and mine incense. And thou tookest my bread, which I gave thee. Yea, I fed thee with fine flour and oil and honey, and didst set them before them for a sweet smelling savor. Yea, it was so, saith the Lord. Most High was like, check this out, chick. I gave that to you to eat. How do you think you got pretty and beautiful? Huh? Huh? Right. So the land is allowing for its natural resources, right? That make it look beautiful because the honeycombs that are in places and the wheat that you can find. Right on. Right? You see what I'm talking about? The vegetation that would have to be there to make this, and it's very comely to the eyes. You guys have to understand. It's just like walking into a backyard of somebody's house, and they naturally have apple tree, cherry tree, pear tree, You know what I mean? And then in the back of there, over there, blackberries, or some of you dewberries, right? You see what I'm saying? And then to the other side, there might be a small vineyard. It's that type of. That's a very basic way of putting it, but it's just so you understand the beauty of the land and what it was given from it being pretty much just all dirt with nothing and not even having the ability to produce life. Verse 20. And thou tookest thy sons and thy daughters, whom thou borest, and didst sacrifice them to be destroyed. And thou didst go a whoring as if they were a little, as if that were a little, and did slay thy children, and gavest them up an offering, and didst slay thy children, and gavest them up an offering, them to them for expatiation, for an expatiation. This is beyond all thy fornication. And thou didst not remember thine infancy, when thou wast naked and bare, and didst live, though defiled in thy blood. Stop right there. Let me tell y'all something. The craziest things ever in life happen when you pay attention. And several things are being said right now. So once again, this is a land. This is, you could compare it to people, but it's the land that allows this to happen. This is how the land can be aggrieved with you. The land can't be upset with you, right? But then at the same time, not have any feelings or any wherewithal. The Most High God wouldn't have told Cain that the earth won't produce life for you, it won't give to you, if the earth can't choose who to give the fruit of seed to and whom not. So it's saying that the children that were born on the land were then given up to sacrifice that the land allowed to take place within her domain. You see what I'm saying? So this is why the land is being punished, because the land has allowed for all these things to take place. And the Most High God is like, you did this just so people would hand clap for you and feel good for you. Right, right. And you did it like it didn't even matter. And you don't even remember when you didn't have nothing. This sounds like a lot of these rappers, all these people today. So, from rags to riches, right, and totally forget where they came from. But this is a story of that way before these guys ever existed, way before they ever took flight. They are them. I know it's hard to believe that, but this is the truth. Uh, or she, Miss Jerusalem, mother for some of our people, I guess. That's why she is what she is. Is why she's being punished now, because she allowed for these things to take place. However, let's just keep this going. Verse 22. This is beyond all thy fornication, and thou didst not remember thine infancy, when thou wast naked and bare, when thou wast naked and bare, and didst live, though defiled in thy blood. And it came to pass after all thy wickedness, saith the Lord, that thou didst build thyself a house of fornication, and didst make thyself a public place in every street. and make on the head of every way thou didst set up thy fornications, and didst defile thy beauty, and didst open up thy feet to every passerby, and didst multiply thy fornications. Stop right there. He says, so not only did you set up whorehouses and brothels everywhere, right? But you made your beauty really disgusting. Like she's just a pretty hoe. And not only that, but then what did he say? You opened up your feet for every passerby. The Most High is so vicious. Come on, let's keep it pushing. And just in case they don't know what that means she opened up her legs. The Most High said, for anybody who was anybody can run through Jerusalem. The Most High is so vicious. I love it. Y'all don't even understand how gangster your God is, and you call him poop butt and all this other. I could slap your lips. I could slap your lips. I'm not talking to my people. I'm talking to those who talk outside of their neck about the Most High, not realizing that He's gonna hold you accountable as if you're the people, not like you're not the people. Stupid motherfuckers. Anyway, excuse my language. Let's read that again. And it came to pass after all thy wickedness, saith the Lord, that thou didst build thyself a house of fornication, and didst make thyself a public place in every street, and on the head of every way which thou set up thy fornications. And thou didst defile thy beauty, and didst open up thy feet to every passerby, and didst multiply thy fornication. And thou didst go a whoring after the children of Egypt, thy neighbors, great of flesh. Oh, people who were apparently well endowed, or giants, or bone, and didst go a whoring often to provoke me to anger. Stop right there. So the Most High is like, you went and did this on purpose to piss me off for no reason. So you let the Egyptians just run through and do whatever they want. All this nonsense. You see what I'm talking about? And do y'all understand? Come on, this stuff is deep. It's deep. Verse 27. And if I stretch out my hand against thee, I will abolish thy statutes and deliver thee up to the wills of them that hate thee, even to the daughters of the Philistines that turn thee aside from the way wherein thou sinnest, and thou didst go a whoring to the daughters of Assur. Now stop right there. It says that the Philistines, right on, turned you aside from the way in which you sin. Mm. So it's like you're one of the reasons why you're like this. It's because of the Philistines. But understand the Philistines, just like the Egyptians, are are relatives, close relatives to the Canaanites, because Canaan and Mizraim are brothers. So their children are cousins. That would make these nations cousin nations that you're all hearing about. With the exception of Assur, who's a son of Sem. But this would also make them cousins because understand this is all a family affair, but I'm just trying to break it down to you. There are spirits involved here that I haven't been talking about, but I can't go into that just yet because I just want to read this. Jerusalem's story is epic. We're getting close to done. So, well, not exactly close. We got a little more reading to do, but we're well over halfway. So don't worry. Uh, if you got like another 20 minutes, maybe even a whole 30, then we're done, and then you can go back to your day. And it's over. 1 second. Now here we are again, and we are at verse 27. No, verse 28. And thou didst go whoring to the daughters of Assur. Not even thus was thou satisfied. Yea, thou didst go a whoring and was not satisfied. Stop right there. Sounds like a chick today, or a dude, but I could really relate it to a chick who cheats on her husband and says, I I did it and then I found out that it didn't make me happy. That kind of chick, right? Ungrateful chick. Now once again, understand why the Most High is pissed off. He's like, you have taken what I've given you and you've totally disrespected it. But are any one of y'all gonna call the Most High a simp right now? I wish you would. Right, right. Because a real man attempts to work the situation out. But he will cut a person off to let them know that your mistake of thinking that I'm a fool or that I'm a chump is well documented, to say the least. And it is being acknowledged and acted upon right now. Let's just keep it pushing. And thou didst multiply thy covenants, verse 29, with the land of the Chaldeans, and not even then with these was thou satisfied. Stop right there. So, if you want to understand that the land of the Chaldeans, the land where in which Abraham, Daddy Abraham comes from, that they made a covenant with these people. Can you dig it? Right. Shit is deep, huh? It's deeper than I thought it was, huh? Oh, but the Most High just so happened to give the land of Canaan up to Abraham for no reason, huh? Okay. All right. Let's keep it pushing. Verse 30. Why should I make a covenant with thy daughter, saith the Lord, while thou doest all these things? The works of a harlot. And thou hast gone a whoring in a threefold degree with thy daughters. Thou hast built a house of harlotry in every top of a way, and hast set up thine high place in every street, and thou didst become as a harlot gathering hires. An adulteress resembles thee, taking rewards of her husband. She has even given rewards to all that went a whoring after her. And thou hast given the rewards, and thou hast given rewards to all thy lovers. Yea, thou didst load them with rewards, that they should come to thee from every side for thy fornication. Stop right there. Everybody heard that the chick is such a trick. They're like, look, you just dick her down proper, my nigga, and she gonna give you everything. Right. And the Most High's like, I'm your husband. You're giving them all my shit. You dirty ass bitch. I have to go in like that so that way y'all understand how the Most High is the real language that this is coming in. It's calm because it's in scripture, but the way that it's I'm telling you, you don't have to like it. It's what it is. He wouldn't be telling nobody that they were defiled in their own blood. He wouldn't be going all in on Jerusalem like this if it wasn't this type of situation. I'm trying to tell you, the Most High is upset. Verse 34. And there has happened in thee perverseness, and there has happened in thee perverseness in thy fornication beyond other women. What? What? And there has happened in thee perverseness in thy fornication beyond other women. Now I want y'all to understand, this is the land. This isn't just physical people. But because the land allows it to happen, the people act the way that the land feels. The land is a dirty whore, so the women are dirty whores. And the men are filthy fornicators. I need you to really get it. This is so vicious. It's beyond what you think. Her daughters, the cities of her, the smaller towns, the suburbs. Right. Come on. Why they're called daughters? Because people are going to come out of them. People are going to go into them and to live them and to come out of them. Come on, understand the idea of masculine and feminine energy. Right on. The reason why rain is called masculine And the reason why the ocean is called feminine is because you can get inside the ocean. Can you dig it? And the rain falls into it. But let me not give y'all too much of my mental game. Keep it pushing. 'Cause that's from the book of Enoch. But let's just keep it pushing. Verse 34. And there has happened in thee perverseness in thy fornication beyond other women. And they have committed fornication with thee, and that thou givest hires over and above, and hires were not given to thee. Stop right there. So you're willing to whore out your own people, but the people you're whoring them out for don't give you whores back to whore. Come on, just dirty wickedness. That's the dirty chick. And who does that sound like today? Come on. Let's just keep that pushing. And excuse me. And they have committed fornication with thee, and that thou givest hires over and above, and hires were not given to thee. And thus perverseness happened in thee. And the word perverseness is, or was contrary to, but let's just go ahead and keep it pushing. Bam. Verse 35. Therefore, harlot, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, because thou hast poured forth thy money, therefore thy shame shall be discovered, and thy harlotry with thy lovers, and with regard to all the imaginations of thine iniquities, and for the blood of thy children, which thou hast given to them. Therefore, behold, I will gather all thy lovers with whom thou wast consorted, and all whom thou hast loved, with all whom thou didst hate, and I will gather them against thee round about, and I will expose thy wickedness to them, and they will see all thy shame. And I will be avenged on thee with the vengeance of an adulteress, and I will bring upon thee blood of fury and jealousy, and I will deliver thee into their hands, and they shall break down thy house of harlotry, and destroy thine high places, and they shall strip thee of thy garments, and shall take thy proud ornaments, and leave thee naked and bare. Now stop right there. That's so multi-pronged that I have to approach the multi-prongness from the way that it is. That's the, you could argue that's when the Israelites came in there, or the children of Israel, smashed on them with the Egyptians and all the strangers who came out of Egypt with them. Can you dig that right there? You could say that this is the Israelites getting smashed on later when they have built all the high places and they've turned the temple into a place of harlotry and whoredoms. Can you dig that? Just like the churches today. So understand that the reason why the black church is like that now is because the black temple turned into that thousands of years ago. But let's just keep it pushing. And they want to blame white people. Verse 40. No, verse 39. And I will deliver thee into their hands, and they shall break down thy house of harlotry, and destroy thine high place. And they shall strip thee of thy garments, and take thy proud ornaments, and leave thee naked and bare. And they shall bring multitudes upon thee, and they shall stone thee with stones, and pierce thee with their swords. And they shall burn thine houses with fire, and shall execute vengeance on thee in the sight of many women. And I will turn thee back from harlotry, and I will no more give thee rewards. So I will slacken my fury against thee, and my jealousy shall be removed from thee, and I will rest, and be no more careful for thee, because thou didst not remember thine infancy, and thou didst grieve me in all things. Therefore, behold, I have recompensed thy ways upon thy head, saith the Lord. For thus hast thou wrought ungodliness above all other thine iniquities. Stop right there. Most times said, don't worry. After they bust your head super duper good, then I'm gonna be like, calm all that down. But now I don't even care about you anymore, because all you do is worry me. So when I let you come around, all you do is stress me out. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry about it. I got you. And you're a nasty ass chick. I got you. Don't worry about that. But now I feel better because they did to you what you deserve. Oh, they gave it to you. Come on. Verse 44. These are in all things they have spoken against thee in a proverb, saying, listen. Verse 45. As is the mother, so is the mother's daughter. Stop. What? As is the mother, so is the mother's daughter. Mm. Thou art she that hath rejected her husband and her children, and the sisters of thy sisters have rejected their husbands and their children. Your mother was a Kittite, and your father an Amorite. Your eldest sister, who dwells on thy left hand, is Samaria. She and her daughters, and thy younger sister that dwells on thy right hand is Sodom, and her daughters. Yet, notwithstanding, thou hast not walked in their ways, neither hast thou done according to their iniquities within a little, but thou hast exceeded them in all ways. As I live, saith the Lord, this this Sodom and her daughters have not done as thou and thy daughters have done. Moreover, this was the sin of thy sister Sodom, pride. She and her daughters lived in pleasure, in fullness of bread, and in abundance. This belonged to her and her daughters, and they helped not the hand of the poor and needy, and they boasted and wrought iniquities before me. So I cut them off as I saw fit. Stop right there. There's so many different things I could speak on. I can't talk about all the different little things, so I have to talk about the most base things. And as the Most High saying to the land, in the metaphysical and the physical realm, He's saying your sisters are nasty, nasty, and you've done way worse than them. So if y'all thought that Sodom and Gomorrah was bad, the Most High set His people in a place that He knew was worse than that. Come on, come on, say that. Say that. And it wasn't worse than that to begin with. Is they helped it become like that. But that's where they will eventually say, "Yeah, right. I know y'all trying to. I know you're having a hard time believing it. Yeah, yeah. Your people, Semites and Hamedo-Semitic people, were worse than the people who lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. But that's neither here nor there." Verse 50. No, verse 49 in the middle. They help not the hand of the poor and needy. Verse 50. And they boasted and wrought iniquities before me. So I cut them off as I saw fit. Also, Samaria has not sinned according to half of thy sins, but thou hast multiplied thine iniquities beyond them, and thou hast justified thy sisters in all thine iniquities which thou hast committed. Stop right there. So by you being a super dirty ass, nasty, trifling hoe, they're like, well, I'm not as bad as her, so shit, I'm good. And this is how chicks do it today. Right. Well, she got 5 baby daddies. I only got 3. So I'm not that bad. Right. That mentality. But come on, let's just keep it pushing. We're almost done. Thou therefore, verse 52, bear thy punishment, for thou hast corrupted thy sisters by thy sins, which thou hast committed beyond them, and thou hast made them appear more righteous than thyself. Thou therefore be ashamed, and bear thy dishonor, and that thou hast justified thy sisters. And I will turn their captivity, even the captivity of Sodom and her daughters, and I will turn the captivity of Samaria and her daughters, and I will turn the captivity in the midst of them, that they mayest bear thy punishment and be dishonored for all that thou hast done in provoking me to anger. And thy system, Sodom and her daughters, shall be restored as they were at the beginning, and thou and thy daughters shall be restored as ye were at the beginning, with nothing. Come on, the Most High is vicious. He said, don't worry, don't worry. I know exactly how I'm going to set this right. because I gave somebody who didn't have. And this is why people who come from those places where there was like that, this is why a lot of these famous people who are black a lot of the time, they can't handle it because they're coming from a place where, no offense, they were never, they weren't built to be equipped to handle all the extra things that come with it. So just come on, let's just keep going. They can't take the responsibility. Verse 56. And surely thy system Sodom was not mentioned by mouth in the days of thy pride, before thy wickedness was discovered. Even now thou art the reproach of the daughters of Syria, and of all that are round about her, even the daughters of the Philistine that compass thee round about. As for thine ungodliness and thine iniquities, thou hast borne them, saith the Lord. Because they said, look, these places hate you because you brought that bullshit to where they're at. Right. Right. They were already bad enough, but you made it worse. Come on. Verse 59. Thus saith the Lord, I will even do to thee as thou hast done. As thou hast dealt shamefully in these things to transgress my covenant, and I will remember my covenant made with thee in the days of thine infancy, and I will establish to thee an everlasting covenant. Then thou shalt remember thy way, and shalt be utterly dishonored when thou receivest thine eldest sisters with thy younger ones. And I will give them to thee for building up, but not by thy covenant, and I will establish my covenant with thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. And thou mayest remember and be ashamed, and mayest no more be able to open thy mouth for thy shame, when I am reconciled to thee, for all that thou hast done, saith the Lord. I'm just going to stop right there, and we're just going to elaborate this last little part. So I'm going to keep it right here, just so that way if I have to go back to it. What it's saying right now, Most High said, don't worry, I'm going to give your sisters to you, and her little ones, and all their little ones. And not by your wicked ass ways, but by my ways. Right on. You're going to build them back up because they followed you. Come on. Now, this is people, you could say this is the Israelite people today, or so called Israelite, who are the diaspora of slaves, who people call African Americans in many different countries. There's so many different ways to see it and say it. Because once again, it's just the literal land. The land is going to be what she was in the beginning and then be built up, changed forever. However, and she will never speak again for the shame of her ways against the Most High. Ah, yeah. You ever met somebody who has a wife that's super duper quiet, almost never talks? Not because she's just not talkative, but maybe because she's shamefaced. But once again, there's a woman who lives in the shame of the things that she's done. Really, way more honorable than a chick who doesn't live in the shame of the things that she's done, because at least she knows that she was wrong in her ways. And as long as I look to obtain to do better, then I can be better. With that said, Jerusalem tried to give the Most High the okie doke and put it on him. So I always thought that this was crazy. You know, uh, I don't know who knows how all this goes. You know what I mean? It's a it's a very complicated thing. The scripture isn't exactly written. What's the word I'm looking for? So that way people can easily understand it every single way that it's written. I mean, I would have to break down for hours every different avenue of every different little thing, and I just don't have the time for that. So um, let's talk about the spectral side of all this. the frequencies that are being emitted that would cause a person to commit fornication, whatever you want that to be, because it's not just the physical act of copulation. It's it's the building of the statue. Can you dig it? And then worshiping them. The idolatry is fornication, it's spiritual fornication. It's beyond what people acknowledge it to be. It's bigger than that. So there's no there's no one who actually really says what it is, actually understands or speaks to these things, it's a disrespect. Uh, there's people who will try to tell you that that's about spiritual Babylon. It's about the land. That is about the land of Jerusalem, who had told us the mother is a Hittite, the father is an Amorite. Right, right. And it goes back to when Joshua and those guys were smashing on King Og and all those types of dudes. You know, these are small instances that have to be acknowledged, appreciated. The whoredoms of the land that took place before the Israelites got there are reasons why, as to why the Israelites were able to fall in the first place. So when the Most High was like, yeah, I'm going to leave these people here as a test to them, he already knew what was going to happen. He literally already knew what was going to happen. I mean, there's a chance that these guys could start stoning people to death and doing exactly what I want them to do, but most of them don't have the constitution for that. You have to be battle ready to actually hold somebody accountable. And the land was not held accountable in any way, shape, or form until you could say before the Israelites got there, you could say all the wars that took place in Canaan were like retribution. But this is why the Philistines were always in Canaan. This is why when you read about uh, in the book of the Kings, right, you'll understand that this is why the Philistines are actually there. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I've been thinking about all that stuff. You know, the feast of unleavened bread for 7 days and stuff like that. I'm gonna do my best to observe. You know, obviously I'm not gonna eat any cake or cookies or anything like that. But you know what I'm saying. Uh, but just back to the story though, because there was no accountability, right, right then and there for the people, you know, or the land, I should say, Jerusalem. Um, there's so many different things that go into into this story of Jerusalem. I mean, did you guys hear how the Most High was like, "Your evil ways have justified your sisters"? It's no different today. You have a chick, like I said, she's got 6 or 7 men who've given her children, right? There's another chick who's like, "Well, I've only got 4 guys who've given me children, so I'm better than her. I'm not as bad as she is." Because she outdid her, you can't hold, it's hard to hold the one who's got 4 children accountable if you're not holding the one who's got 6 children accountable. You see what I'm saying? The one with 6 kids, the welfare queen, and all that. See, this is why the Most High is so vicious, because even when you apply what was said thousands of years ago to right now, today's atmosphere, it's still totally applicable. This is why when these guys talk all the garbage that they say about the Most High, I don't worry about it. You know, they're grown. You know, they're grown. Did you hear how the Most High said, "I'm gonna let your head get busted because you don't respect me"? That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a fighting to get you to do the right thing. Does anybody follow what I'm saying? Are you with me? I I shouldn't have to ask you to do the right thing. You didn't have shit when I met you. You was broke when I met you. You was a bum when I met you, homeless when I met you. I put you on, helped you start a business. Now your business is thriving, and you want to act like you don't owe me nothing? What? What? You want to act like you can just run around here and screw over my business partners that I helped establish my businesses with to get you to where you're at? What? You think you can just go around here and just, once again, play some type of game? Love, my friends, is not a game. The Most High loved the land of Jerusalem, loved it, coveted it, so much so that he said, I have to let you get your head busted for me to take you back, for me to mess with you again. And that's what, no offense, the women don't understand. It's like, there's no healing you. We don't have healing powers. No dude can just magically heal you back to your, I can't bring you back to your original stage. So if a chick does something that's against a man that hurts his soul, right? This is why when people disrespect the ordinances of the Most High, it's like the fact that any of us are able to be forgiven for anything that we've done, we should be so entirely grateful, because for some of the things that we've done warranted death, and we would have been dead in the ancient world if the people were pressed to keep the law and the ordinance. So we live in a special time where in which for things that would have normally have, I'm talking about a whole range of things, from women who are nasty to men that are homosexuals, right? The fact that they're able to come to their senses, right? Which is why the Messiah says that he doesn't want people like that to ask for forgiveness. You guys got to realize why the scripture is written the way it's written. Even when people are like, oh, the New Testament is bullshit, certain things merit for you to look at it a whole lot differently if you understand how the scripture itself is written. But that's neither here nor there. With all that said and put forth, you have to appreciate what happened with the land of Jerusalem. The land of Jerusalem itself is an unappreciative woman who did not take serious what the Most High had given to her. And he gave her more than what she could have ever asked for. She was a bald-headed chick with her titties out, menstruating all over herself. I don't know how out of her blood he makes life in the land. Once again, that part blows my mind. Only the Most High could tell me that to make it make sense. And yet, the land becomes fertile, right? Or it produces, and the land becomes abundant. Like the Most High says, oh, I came back and checked on her, and her hair grew in it. And all of a sudden, her body was covered up. But that just means that the ground was bare. So that means that vegetation had actually grown. Come on, I'm trying to break it down to y'all. See, it's deep because it's a multi-pronged thing. If I try to break down the frequency effort, I'd have to be able to identify what frequency the human body emits at all times, and then what frequency the land emits at all times, what frequency it takes for rain to fall, and then what frequency it takes for the rain to permeate into the land, and then what frequency it takes for that to germinate within the soil, and then what frequency it takes for the germination to turn. And you see, you understand what I'm talking about? There's so many different little frequencies that you'd have to be aware of. Right. Right. And people think that yes, bro, layers and levels. Super duper many of them. And it's just because I'm a lowly dude, people don't really think I know what I'm talking about. But it's like, if they only really understood, you know, If somebody told me something, I'm not gonna just act like that's not real. I'm gonna listen to them. I always listen to what people say. Your experience is not to be antiquated, ever. What you've experienced is unique, not just to you, but to the frequency that you live at and that your body emits and puts out. I heard about it, but I didn't really get too in it. But you know what though? Years ago, before it became a plague, when I was still in school, they told us about it. It was going to get out of hand. I was in high school, man. I remember this. You know what I mean? And they had tried to go get they had tried to go and buy snakes and stuff like that to get them, but it was like only certain snakes could eat the frogs, and then they didn't want to get too many of those snakes to come in there because they didn't want to, to hurt the ecosystem. Anyway, the whole thing is crazy. Uh, but that's just from years ago, though. That's from from some stuff hella years ago in high school. Uh, a lot of stuff. When I say a lot of stuff I touched on in high school, a lot of stuff we got to touch on in high school, and it's just funny that you talked about that. And Mr. Goble's class, Miss Robinson, one of the two. Anyway, and yes, sir, we are more than few and far in between. We're a class of people our own. I always, you know, pay homage to our small, tight knit unit, small unit cohesion. There is no man. Listen, there is no man who will tell you about warfare and then can overlook, once again, make obsolete, render to nothing, or just put into a place off to the side. Antiquate small unit cohesion. Small unit cohesion win wars. Small unit cohesion is the difference between major events and moments in time. Our small unit cohesion could be something that makes a difference, is what I'm saying. Be it we are somewhat far apart, but that's okay. Us being sparceled around makes it better. They can't just come and get all of us all at one time. Right. This is why that concept of building is so ridiculous, because if you get 10,000 black people in a place at one time, what's to stop them from airstriking that place? Really think, I want you to really think about that. These aren't 10,000 black people who just live there. These are 10,000 black people trying to change the existence and overall well-being of other black people. That's something that they just cannot have. If these are 10,000 black people who are willing to arm themselves and use their actual resources as a viable means to overthrow or to at least disrupt the system, then surely that's a threat that must be taken to the fullest of its extent and capabilities. Once again, small unit cohesion. They don't teach it because they don't understand it. They could never tell you that World War II was literally single handedly uh, tilted on small unit cohesion. The Korean conflict, every single war there is, small unit cohesion has been the difference. Yeah, yeah, bro. That's man. I mean, man. Anytime you have an animal that can come and change the ecosystem at that level, you know, um, it's gonna be just like that. It's gonna be totally phenomenal. But this is just, I mean, but just to use that real quick, right? For the land, man, for Jerusalem. Let's just smack her in the face before I get ready to close it on out. Jerusalem allowed for similar situations for things that were foreign to the land to be brought into the land. Then took things out of her land and brought them into other land. Right? So this is why the Philistines hated Jerusalem. Can you dig it? It was like they brought poisonous frogs to the Philistines. That's why the people of Syria, the Syrians, hated Jerusalem. Because right, it was like they brought poisonous frogs to the people. Can you dig it? It changed the ecosystem of how they lived. This is the truth. This is why it is the way that it is. Why the Most High God said, well, you will be naked and bare as you were in the beginning, and then we'll figure it out. And you won't even be able to speak because you'll be totally ashamed of yourself. Right. I love the Most High. He is super gangster. There is no sucker in him at all. Anybody that'll let you play yourself and hang yourself with the rope twice is a super gangster. Trust me. More than a super gangster, man. The Most High. Ultimate aerial dominance above everyone and above everything. Is there anything that anybody wants to talk about before I roll on out? Because I just wanted to do this. That's all I really wanted to do. You know, I felt obligated. I felt obligated, but I had a good time though. You know, I love reading the Bible. I love reading it to my people, but I do love reading the Bible in general, in particular. It's a very very fun thing. I believe it's very healthy. Um, want to have some time tomorrow before I go to work. I might do a little weekly update, talk about how D Treasy and being bopped him again. Trust me, this stuff I love. We'll talk about the wall and how they're trying to build the wall in different places. Come on, Babylon is building its wall. It's about to go down, y'all. But we look up here real quick and make sure that nobody gonna talk about nothing before I see this too. Okay, okay. I should be on tomorrow, man, but I'll have a the the scheduled time up there. I normally put the time up just so people know, you know, but this was kind of impromptu. But I've been wanting to do this for forever. You guys don't know how hard I laughed when I said that, you know, like when it says that she opened her feet to every passerby. When I say I laughed so hard that the Enoch piece. Okay, so we'll have to do that early next week. I'll probably do it the day I have court next week because I'm not sleeping very much. You know, um, that day I won't be sleeping much, so I'll come home and we'll start some stuff in the Book of Enoch. It's the Book of Enoch is deep, dude. Oh my goodness, there is so much going on, and damn it, want to do a show on the weird prophecy going down. We can hang it. Yeah, yeah, of course, of course, of course. Wherever, bro, you can come here and get it in. I can send the link. You can just hop on. If anybody ever has something to say, dog, they can always get the link. I'll just sit back, turn my screen off. You feel me? And let them chop it up, dog. I do not care. It's not a big deal, you know. Oh man, I appreciate you, brother. I pray for everybody all the time, man, because you know, I know it's just us out there. You know, I know we get sad and feel like you know we're fighting a war by ourselves, but I always do think that it, you know, to keep everybody in my mind and my heart. You know, I know it does sound good, huh, Martin? Everybody, I'm gonna uh, I'm gonna let y'all have your night. Um, as these things develop, we'll speak on them more. Uh, I appreciate y'all. I really do love you guys. It is once again, it is so amazing to be able to live the life that I've lived. You know, man, I'm trying to tell you, it has been an adventure. Yeah, yeah, been a long time. Back when Scribe was still baptized as Scribe, right? Been a long time. I'm telling you, bro, it has been an honor, everyone. It has been an honor. You know, 8:51 Pacific Standard Time. I figure you guys, I got another 60 seconds, maybe a whole 120 seconds. I'm just gonna just go off the top of my head and just give you guys a whole bunch of stuff real quick that I don't even know this. So because Middle Earth housed specific genetic groups within it, that means that per locale of these genetic groups, when the Earth was actually divided, per locale of genetic group dictates where in which they actually came up out of the Earth. This is indicative to what the people worship to this day. This is why sun and moon worship are so big. I can't stress it to you guys enough. I'm going to read everything to you about the sun and the moon cycles in the book of Enoch first. I think that will be, it's going to be way forward, but I think if I read that and then go way back, it'll make a little more sense. Did you know that in the book of Enoch, it explains the day as 18 parts, not 24 hours? Right. Totally different than what we've ever been told. But that's okay. I'm trying to give us everything that we've never actually understood to be real. Did you know in the book of Enoch it talks about the new creation? Right, talking about the new earth or whatever. Come on. Anyway, I can't even I can't even go into all of it right now because I have to be reading it to you and then I have to be able to elaborate what prophets have said and prophecy and passing. This stuff is so deep. This is why I wish people worked together and didn't work against each other. It is what it is, though. You can only reach your hands out to the folks so many times until you realize that they want to step on your fingers and take what you have from your hands and say it's mine, but then tell you, hey, we're still friends right in the end. So because you have to deal with that sort of thing, you have to watch what you say and watch what you do. So that way the message that you're trying to put forth can't be mutilated and misconstrued into something different. My people, it is always an honor. It is always a blessing. And it is always a pleasure. Until next time, it should be sometime tomorrow. And if not, you guys will know because it will be a scheduled event. The latest Saturday,